This data visualization shows the exact volume of a single illegal shipment intercepted by customs officials in Singapore in 2019. It contained 14.2 metric tons of animal scales, representing an estimated 36,000 individual dead animals compressed into one bust. The creature behind those numbers is the pangolin. It is the only mammal on Earth completely covered in overlapping protective scales, creating a flexible shield over almost every external surface, except the underside of its belly. That armor is incredibly dense. The keratin plates alone account for roughly 20% of a pangolin's total body weight. Globally, there are 8 officially recognized species of pangolin split geographically, with 5 tracked in Asia and 4 across sub-Saharan Africa. The international consensus on their vulnerability is absolute. As noted by the IUCN, quote, all pangolin species are currently listed under Appendix I of CITES, which prohibits international trade. It is the strictest level of legal protection possible. Out in the wild, navigating thick understories and open savannas, the pangolin keeps entirely to itself. They are primarily nocturnal and highly solitary creatures. When confronted by a physical threat, a pangolin doesn't fight or flee. It simply curls inward, tucking its soft belly away and locking those overlapping plates into a tight, impenetrable sphere. This specific reflex is so defining that the very name pangolin comes from the Malay word panguling, which translates directly to the one that rolls up. Because they operate in the dark, they have remarkably poor eyesight. Instead, they navigate and hunt almost entirely by relying on a highly attuned sense of smell to track down hidden insect colonies. Against a leopard or a lion, this tightly rolled armor is a highly effective evolutionary defense, but against humans, it is a fatal flaw. A poacher doesn't need to hunt or trap a pangolin. They simply walk up and lift the static ball off the ground. Beneath that exterior plating lies an incredibly specialized internal anatomy. Beginning right at the skull, a pangolin has absolutely no teeth. To extract prey from deep underground tunnels, they use this, a sticky tongue that is only about half a centimeter wide, but can extend outward up to 40 centimeters, or roughly 16 inches. This anatomical schematic illustrates how that reach is biologically possible. The tongue is not anchored at the base of the skull like most mammals. Its root runs all the way down past the throat, anchoring deep inside the thorax between the sternum and the trachea. Fueling that body requires consuming between 140 and 200 grams of ants and termites every single day. That scales up to tens of millions of insects per year for a single animal. Since they lack teeth, the actual chewing happens internally. The stomach functions like a bird's gizzard, utilizing tough keratinous spines lining the interior walls. The pangolin swallows small stones and sand, which grind against those spines to physically crush their prey. This highly refined digestive machinery makes the pangolin an apex insectivore. Its survival depends on a delicate internal balance humans struggle to fully replicate. Yet none of that biological complexity matters to the illicit networks driving the poaching. The final destination for these animals is typically traditional medicine markets, primarily located in China and Vietnam. This line graph maps the sheer mathematics of that trade. Approximately 100,000 pangolins are trafficked across borders every single year. Maintain that rate over a decade, and the cumulative impact is massive. Over 1 million pangolins physically removed from the wild. You can track the physical footprint of this extraction through public seizure records. In 2013, Philippine authorities inspected a Chinese vessel that had run aground on a reef. Inside the hull, they found 10,000 kilograms of pangolin meat. The stockpiling of whole bodies occurs domestically too. A 2016 property raid in Indonesia uncovered chest freezers packed with more than 650 frozen pangolins in a single location. These are isolated, slow-moving creatures, and they are facing an industrialized human extraction machine that physically overwhelms their biology. That million-animal deficit cannot easily be replaced in the wild. Pangolins typically mate just once a year, and most species produce a single pup per cycle, making population recovery exceptionally slow. Conservationists cannot mitigate the loss artificially either. captive breeding attempts have repeatedly failed because the animals require wide-ranging habitats and a strict diet of live insects that facilities simply cannot maintain. And then there is the biological truth of the armor itself. Pangolin scales are composed entirely of keratin. There is zero scientific evidence supporting any medicinal property or value to them. It took until the first half of 2020 for the official Chinese pharmacopoeia to finally remove pangolin scales from its list of permitted remedies, a decades-late admission of that biological fact, which leaves us with a devastating contradiction.